If Prince Harry's mental condition was any worse, well, could it be any worse, then this has really heaped on even more pressure. And I don't say that unkindly, right? You know, if people are going through difficult times, it is very, very difficult. But as many people know, Prince Harry himself has heaped on a lot of mental anguish onto his elder brother, Prince William, the Prince of Wales, alongside, of course, Catherine, the Princess of Wales. But seemingly with these people, it's always one-sided. However, this is really proving to be very devastating for Harry upon his imminent arrival back here to the United Kingdom. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you for joining me. As ever, nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well. You're not bad. And by the way, thank you for enjoying the interview with Mike Batt. Many of you remembered him, of course, as the Wombling King. Remember the Wombles? They were terrific, weren't they? I think it was the brilliant actor Bernard Cribbins also, correct me if I'm wrong, that voiced that over. But they were very impactful, weren't they, when you were a kid? Because I remember watching them and the message was, pick up your litter. You know, they lived on Wimbledon Common, but of course they cleared the litter. Imagine if somebody could create a thing like that now, where it actually taught children to look after and respect the area that you're in. Well done, Mike Batt, though, for having at least the sort of foresight to make that, along with the creators of the Wombles. Wonderful tunes, check them out, they're all free on YouTube. Let's get back to your royal story of the day. I say Prince Harry brought all of this upon himself, you know. From the greatest heights many fall, as we all know, chums, and the problem that you have if you're Harry, it takes a lot more to just take in simply because you are Prince Harry. He felt that, you know, his mere presence would be enough, and you've got issues and all that sort of stuff, and he's been very, very, in my opinion, too open about himself, you know, popping up on all of those shows talking about mental health and the fact that you should quit your job if you don't like it. I mean, nuts. All very well from a multi-millionaire, an ex-royal to say that, but you know, you and I who are struggling through or whatever, you know, you've got friends who are in far worse positions, I know that, and you know, you can't say, oh, just quit your job. It's the only thing they've got that's keeping them going a lot of the time. So this is the problem that Harry's now got. You know, when he gets up to speak, people groan simply because the speech he's giving is not really from the heart, it's from what somebody's suggesting he says. And that, in my opinion, no doubt would be Meghan Markle. Meghan, of course, loves the sound of her own word salads, talks in these euphemisms of therapy speak, you know, and you kind of think, what does that mean, you know? Absolutely nothing. If you listen to any of her responses, they're absolutely useless. It's only when things start to go wrong do people literally look up. And this is where Prince Harry's decided to look up. As I say, back in a couple of days now, all for the Well Child Awards. And what's interesting here, forgive me chums, this is the pollen, but what is interesting here is the fact that, as I say, the Well Child Awards very, very badly, you know, shall we say, if you look at some of the detail on their comments page, it doesn't appear that Harry's that popular on there either. Now, the problem that Harry's got is he's fighting for his charitable life. And the charitable life is the thing where it's a big cheese for him. It's apparently about his life of service, it's his life's work. But even places like Invictus have decided, again, allegedly and according to reports, that maybe his brand is becoming too toxic to overcome what the absolute, you know, the product is. Now, as you all know, in 2027, they're coming to Birmingham with the Invictus Games, should they raise enough funds. But what's interesting, and this is the real pivotal bit, is the fact that Prince William, the Prince of Wales, alongside some other senior royals, have said, of course, they would, you know, consider being the patron or indeed looking after the Invictus Games. They don't want it to fail. Remember, people forget that His Majesty the King, Catherine as well at that point, was very instrumental, and Prince William, the Prince of Wales, were all the people that got that going. It wasn't just Harry saying, oh, let's do this. No, there was a big push, a lot of help behind the scenes. And I would suspect that they simply don't want that to go. So if the requirement is there, and the fact that they feel that perhaps Prince Harry is now not representative of what they're doing, or maybe Harry does want to step down, take a moment of reflection, look back and think, right, you know, could this be better done? Perhaps on this particular issue, rather than creating conflicts with families, should I allow the real royals in the United Kingdom to step in and be in my place? Either way, this is the turmoil going on behind the scenes. And as staff members tell me, Harry really is in a very dark place. But as I said at the start of the video, truly, it's whichever way you look at it, it's only himself to blame. He drove himself there, he had a lot of help, and he spurned it away. Who did that, do you think? Neil Sean, Kensington, London.